I've ever seen. Thanks a lot, guys. I know full well that I'm standing between you and drinking, so I'm going to try to be pretty. Oh, you are? Okay. I'll be quick to get to you, so we can all get the drink. I'm sure after listening to like 4 or 5 hours of this stuff that you guys are all thinking, God, not another VC. Please, not more of this. So I'm going to talk to you about water filtration for the next 5 minutes. It's a subject near and dear to my heart as I have a slice of the reef in my kitchen. No, actually, does anyone know who Howard Rourke is? Howard Rourke, protagonist from The Fountainhead. And he was way ahead of his time in the book, anyway. Modernist, absolutely scary to the establishment, disruptive in every possible way, and a bit of a perfectionist, a bit of an ass at times. But, at the end of the day, he sort of, won out, so to speak. And a lot of what he did was take design and sort of pare it back to the essentials, really focusing on what was the most important pieces of any given structure, to the point where he ultimately achieved, in his mind, at least, sort of perfection. So sort of, hold that thought about paring back, and I'll tell you a little one VC story, and then I'll wrap up. Back when I was working as in a distressed debt firm, so doing like credit default swaps, at night I would do venture capital deals. And because I was in the radio business for 10 years, sort of financing radio companies and media companies, I got a chance to meet a guy named Tim Westergren, who founded Pandora, ultimately convinced the guys I was working with that really they needed to give me $10 million so I could give it to Tim so he could build out his company. And I went to the first board meeting, and I'm sitting there right outside the room. And I'm not a shy guy, and I'm not a nervous guy, and generally fairly self-assured. And I'm sitting out there going, I am screwed out here. I'm sitting here, I'm a media guy. I don't know anything about tech. I don't know anything about the venture world. There's a whole room full of these sharks in there, and they're all going to kill me. And like 10 minutes into the meeting, started asking questions like, all right, well, how are you going to build a sales force? How are you going to, get involved with this group? How are you going to deal with the music industry on this issue? And, everyone's looking at their tuna sandwich, so like staring at the floor going, well, I don't know. And then it dawned upon me that actually I was just fine, because what, in fact, I think most companies need these days, or many, many companies need these days, is not necessarily the heavy technical skills. I mean, it's taken for granted that you have them and you need them. But I think what a lot of folks actually needed was the ability to translate those technical skills, take them out of Silicon Valley, and actually connect with larger companies through partnerships, distribution deals, learn from them, et cetera, as opposed to just sort of sitting in your room and saying, we're going to disrupt the industry, we're going to rule the world. There's very few of those companies out there. Most need a lot of other companies. So to get back and sort of tie up those 2 points, I don't have a clock, but I'm probably 4 minutes in. So what do we do at Raptor? So, Raptor is a relatively, early stage venture firm. We tend to write checks in the $250,000 to $3 million range, tend to be sort of the first institutional round. But I think what we really do is sort of three things. One, we sort of stick to our knitting. And what I mean is we sort of have the Warren Buffett circle of competence down pretty good. We know what we're good at. We're, pretty good at music deals and media deals and sports deals. My partner, Jim Pilata, is, a guy who's part owner of the Celtics, owns a soccer team in Europe. He's a big sports guy. We're well connected there, so we spend a lot of time there. Commerce type stuff, data type stuff, consumer facing stuff. It's things we can understand. We're not, unfortunately, we're not technologists. I wish I was, but we're not high technologists. So we stick to our knitting. We try to keep to the areas where we can add value. I think the second thing we do is we have a process by which we do a lot of what is generally referred to as OKR, so objectives and key results. It's something that came out of Intel. You used it at Zynga, you saw it at Google. We have a venture partner named Robert Goldberg who came out of Zynga, who has sort of helped us do this. And really what it gets down to is ruthless reprioritization. It's paring everything back, kind of like Howard Rourke to its essence and saying, what is the most important piece here? Let's focus on that, and let's sort of, make sure that when you're an entrepreneur and you have every possible opportunity ahead of you, that you don't go off in 40 different directions at once. And so we really try to help the founders of our companies with that sort of prioritization, making sure that they feel like they're heading in the right direction. And I don't know what the last thing that we do is. I guess the last thing we do is just we try to be good partners to folks and really hook them up and spend a lot of time with our network and hooking them up with our network. So after, 25 years for me, 35 years for Jim of really, getting to know sort of the senior managements of companies, we try to take founders, and instead of having them hire a young head of business development and then having them talk to the next young head of business development at the next company, we just try to go to the head of the company and try to move them down. We feel that this is the best thing that we can do for these companies as long as their product is ready and we can help. So that's probably 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Thank you. Appreciate it.